Hello, this is Maija-Liisa Adams from Maija-Liisa Speaks, and today I'd like to share with you how you can find a TEDx stage to give a TEDx talk. What you want to do is go to TED.com. So I'm going to take you there now. You'll notice that I am logged in and you have a profile here. So there's my name. And to find what stages are currently available, you go over to the third tab, Attend, and you click on TEDx events. Now, when you come to these TEDx events, it's going to show you a map, and all those blue dots are places where a TEDx event is happening. If I scroll here, today happens to be December 6th, then I will see that in Jaipur, India, there's a TEDx Kids. And at TEDx Indiana State University Women, there is an event. But there are a couple of ways to go about this. Let's say that you wanted to know what was happening here. And you can here's New Jersey. So I can start clicking there, and then I can find this particular event. And this one's going to happen in March of 18th. Now, whatever day you're listening to this, probably about 5 to 6 months before this date is when the stage is open. So likely this one's not open, but you could go and look for them. Now, sometimes you're going to find them here and they will give you a link to their website, but you just need to be tenacious and find them. These are the ways you go about it. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on a website, but you don't typically, not all the time do you find a particular stage on all of those. So they may be on Facebook, but not on Instagram, or they may be on Instagram and not on Facebook. And they may have a .com or they may have a .org. Excuse me. Another way is to just Google. So I'm going to come over here and let's say that I wanted to Google TEDx Cherry Creek. Now, where in the world is Cherry Creek? What you need to know is that not every TEDx stage is named by the big city. This is in the Denver area. And it's an area within Denver. So they can have several in Denver, like TEDx Mile High, TEDx Cherry Creek. They both have to do with Denver. And as I come here, it says, apply today. Now, not everyone is going to have it as obvious for you. And it could be because they don't have anything open right now. But this one does. Notice there's 2 places that you can apply. And when you click on apply today, it's telling you that they're going to have their next upcoming event is TEDx Youth at Cherry Creek. And it's going to be held on April 30th at Legacy High School. So this event is open to any high school age youth in Colorado. Now, you may say that's not something I want to apply for, but if you do nothing else and apply at no other stage, always come to TEDx Cherry Creek because they have such great information. They tell you the truth about applications, because here's the thing, 95% of applicants are rejected because they didn't answer the question that was being asked. There are basically 4 things that any TEDx event wants to know about you. Number 1 is, what's your idea? And notice I said that first because who you are is important, but most important is what's your idea? Saying that, you should know that you may not be the foremost expert in something, but if you have a unique idea, a different twist, another angle at looking at something, and it's compelling enough, then they will take the idea over the speaker almost every time. So not all TEDx events are the same. You can see here, and not all TEDx events are curated the same way. And if you don't read the information below and follow these guidelines, your application will very likely not be selected. So this is specific to TEDx Cherry Creek, although it gives you a really great idea of how most stages are put together, or the things that they're doing, even if they don't do as great a job of spelling out what's needed. Anything in red here, for example, this is a PDF about ideas worth spreading. So then go ahead and open that up and take a look at it. So as I click over here, what comes up is, remember the theme of TED is an idea worth spreading. So they have a really nice way of taking you through. And even some people come to see and listen to TEDx talks because they want their minds expanded. So if you're wondering about your idea, ask these questions. Does it reframe an existing paradigm? Does it challenge an existing paradigm, or does it offer a completely different paradigm? Now back to this. Milestones. When you seek a stage, then, like I said, it's about 6 months before, give or take a little bit, before, from when it's open to when you're actually going to be on stage. So this is the milestones that are coming up for the Legacy High School, the TEDx Youth at Cherry Creek. So applications were opened last December 1st, and they'll close on January 2nd. And then they'll make their, on the 28th, their final selection, and then they will email the invited presenters. And it goes through and it says, here's a kickoff meeting. Here's a training number 1. Here's a training number 2. And notice it says in person. So even though we're in the pandemic, a lot of these are happening live right now, and you can get on those stages. They're being very careful about how they do it. And they're typically looking for people around their area that are going to bring in ticket sales for them. That doesn't mean they won't choose someone from outside their area, but that's why you want to go back here to TED.com and type in, for example, I happen to be an Idaho-based TEDx one, and it shows us that we have TEDx Rexburg is coming up on March 12th, 2022. And there aren't any others at the moment in Idaho. Or if we want to say California, another place that I lived, then you see it in blue, there are several in California. And then whether you're in Northern or Southern California, let's go down here closer to San Diego. April 16th, there's one in Chula Vista. Up here near San Francisco, Atherton is April 21st. So you would just go click on those particular ones and look for it. Now, if you wanted to watch an event, because I always recommend that you watch an event, and hopefully you can do it in person, but if not, this is the time to get on Eventbrite and just type in TEDx and find out what stages are available. So here's December 8th coming up in Los Altos, because again, remember I narrowed it to California. So there are no events in California on the 6th or 7th, but we have 3 on the 8th, and then we have 4 on the 11th, and then we have 1 on the 15th and 1 on the 17th. Now, something else to think of is maybe you really, really want to speak at the city of San Francisco. So you might want to start checking again about May or June or possibly July. You don't want to miss it, because often they hold their event a year later. That's not always the case, because there have been events that they used to hold it in November, then they started holding it in January, now they do it in March, because many things happen. And when they're given a license, they're given a license for 1 year. But in general, you could say, gosh, I really want to be a part of this one. Almanzar Park, women, and on December, looks like probably next year. And speaking about TEDx Women, there's TED and there's TED Women. TED happens in April. TED Women happens in the November, December timeframe. And that's the big stage. And then TED Women, TEDx Women events, the X for independently organized regional ones, also happen around that same time of year. Now, a reminder is to go to type in the, you can do a city, you can do a state, you can do a nation, and find out the year. You can come in here and say, I only want to see what's happening in 2022. I want to see what's happening in, say, July of 2022 in California. And then it really starts to narrow it down for you. It looks like right now there's only one that's been given a license so far, upcoming for July of 2022. And if I want to change that, then I just come out and then I'm going to get rid of California, and it's still July of 2022. But now I start seeing, oh, there are some here. There's one in New Zealand area, the United Kingdom, Germany, Spain, and some in Africa here, as well as getting over into the Middle East and even over into Asia. And then it says, here's the week of June 27th. So far, we've granted license in Egypt, Canada, Pakistan, Bulgaria, South Africa, Mexico, and France. For the next week, we have Brazil, Italy, Portugal, New Zealand, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. So that's how you go about finding a TEDx stage. And I would love to help you find those TEDx stage. I can help you get inside the head of an organizer, what they're looking for. And in fact, if you would like, I would love to share with you the top 10 tips that a TEDx speaker coach is looking for in a TEDx speaker. And to get that, you simply go to my website, which is ML for Maija-Liisa, mlspeaks.com, and click on and download those top 10. And I do have a couple limited spots if you would like to set up a time to do a red dot ready assessment. The red dot is what you stand on in the middle of the TEDx stage. And I want to see if you're ready to get on the red dot, answer any questions that you have, and see what kind of a path to the TEDx stage strategy that we can come up with. So in summary, you can find a TEDx stage on your own by simply Googling them, searching for TEDx on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. They might be a .com, they might be a whatever the country is, and they might be a .org. And you can always go to that one that in your area that you want to speak at and find out, looking at past TEDx events, when did they have it in 2021? Did they have it in 2020? Did they have it, and when did they have it in 2019? Pick a couple speakers and get a look for what the stage is like, what the event is like, and maybe listen to some of those talks. At the minimum, go to their website when you find it and sign up to get email updates. That's when you'll know when that one's coming up if it's not open at the moment. This is Maija-Liisa Adams, and I have an Idaho-based yet global TEDx speaker coaching business. And again, you can download those tips at mlspeaks.com. And I hope to see you on the stage soon.